Hello, welcome back to the NLC. We're going into our third game of the day, Resolve taking on BTXL, and I've got a couple of haters on the desk because no one else is believing in the Resolve.
Okay, hold on. Look at the last 5 matches.
Yeah? How many of those against BTXL?
None. But they have not really looked in it for almost all 5 of those games, with the exception of like the Godsent game, which is, at the time, Godsent were kind of starting to look like a team for once, and they still managed to lose in a game where they should have probably won. So
devil's advocate.
Okay.
Listen here.
If you say Dan and Denek are in, and it's technically like a new rock start, I'm gonna hurt you, Gorborg. We're not gonna. What's the point? What's the point? Come on.
I have nothing.
I was gonna say, because Gorborg, I think Jamada's a lost cause, but Gorborg, you believed in Granite last game, and they came out with a win that no one was expecting.
I believe in a team that's winning and not.
Yeah, but I mean, we'll have to see how the draft goes. They might. Yeah, okay, you two are horrible. I'm just going to talk about the bands that we got. Gwen Viego, Carly, and Fresh, all very standard stuff. I want Orcs on here. Can we swap? Can we get like Orcs on the desk?
You want his soundboard?
You want the soundboard? I don't know if that's a good idea.
At this point, potentially, but Relic did also be taken off the table. There's still, this patch has so much power, you can't ban it all away, so it's always really fascinating with Zinzao still being up, loads of different options available.
And I actually spoke about it with, and there goes the Zinzao actually, I spoke about it with Hitbrain yesterday on the UKLC. It feels like there's about 10 to 11 different champions which are just really strong in the meta at the moment, all very much sort of first rotationable. Nocturne is one of those champions, which for the first time today has made it through. The Stride Breaker changes have effectively made this pretty much pick ban. At the moment, it feels like the win rate skyrocketed. Nocturne has an easy time finding onto the backline anyway, so you give him this 90% decaying slow. You know, he didn't really need the dash except for when he was in lane. Now he's got this crazy ability to just make sure you secure a fear or get the flash out of targets. And BTXL, they've loved this Nocturne anyway, and now they've got the even stronger version of it.
And now I kind of want to see some stylistics to come through here. Either you go opt in for yes,
finally.
Let's behold, there it is. Either you opt in for some actual backline access yourself and go and just handshake. We just take dive composition, or you need to go for disengage. Actually, something that you're able to kite back with. Not this mix we see so often. You need to have a clear stylistic in comps and this kind of meta. So I love the Diana to come through, specifically with the set. I've been asking for this duo for so long today.
Now can we convince you about Resolve?
Don't push it.
Let's not go too far. All right, let's take it easy.
It's a good duo, but maybe there's a little bit more work that needs to be done. The Volley Bear picked up at BTXL.
Yeah, now granted, I actually feel like whilst obviously Set and Diana are really good sort of diving components of a composition, they also work really well as sort of re-engage tools too. You get caught off guard by Diana just sort of diving back in, moonfalling in people, and oh wow, Atrix throwing down really early the Blunt Gauntlet. So okay, XL to me, already out of the gates, they're saying, we want to play through the solo lanes, we've got this priority, we've got this 2v2 kill lane. I want to see if Resolve are actually going to respond with something a little spicy themselves in mid lane, whether it's going to be something like a Lucian, or whether it's going to be, this sort of mid lane that can trade aggressively with the Blanc as well. Because I feel like Chimera does have it in his champion pool, but this split, he's kind of been put on like utility duty.
I mean, in the LPL, it's kind of like you either go Silas or Lissandra if that's what you want to run into it, and they're just running the Lissandra as well. I earlier said I just casted a lot of LPL today, and it just feels like the comps here are very different. But this, what I'm seeing from Resolve, very Eastern inspired here. This seems like something you'd see every day from over there.
All right, now this is where things get interesting for me though, because ban phase 2, both these teams effectively have their top side. It's like target banning out what you don't want to have to deal with, but realistically with these compositions, they want to end up with the same kind of goal, I feel like, in the bottom lane. So I think the Ezreal ban kind of spells, okay, we just want this mobility option off the table. For BTXL, do you want to remove away like the strong picks in sort of like the lane dominant picks like Varus, just because it's Resolve that have first dibs on the AD carry pool or the support pool? Do you want to remove away the engage options, because right now Resolve's engage isn't looking too hot? Utility seems to be the name of the game right now with that Lulu ban for BTXL. So I'm curious to see what direction both these teams go with their 2 final bans.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting either way, but just because I feel like right now both teams here are playing towards the top side of the map. It's not going to be like where you're expecting them to play towards the bottom, just because right now for the Diana, there's facilitation in both lanes, really. And now with the Draven ban to come through as well, kind of insinuates you're going for something melee, or not melee, rather. Of course, it's not melee, but like one of these AD carries that are easily getting punished by Draven because they have short range. So Kalista is still a champion that's up and available as well here.
Yeah, I think Kalista for me probably is what's on Resolve's mind. We saw a 2 run it the other week. It didn't look too hot in that game, but I feel like he individually, I mean, BCSL have the read on it, but he did individually play pretty well. But a lot of the lane bullies out, this kind of just leaves the Varus as like the strongest lane AD carry up and available. I think if they lock it in and they go down the Lethalia route, though, they're going to be lacking on like true DPS, especially around the Barons, but we'll have to see. We've obviously had that hover for a while, but I think Tristana also relatively stable in lane, and there's not too much up that can crazily hard punish it in lane outside of the Varus, which I imagine Deadly would now default to in this situation.
Could be the case. Of course, it's going to be the bot lanes for both teams. We've got the support as the counter pick, unless, again, it could be the set going down there. We've seen stranger things, but Deadly has had some really, really pop-up performances throughout the entire split. Really, so it's kind of mad to see them maybe going for a more topside focus, and that's a Cogmore coming through. Really wants to get his carry pants on once again.
I wonder if they're going to go for a more like aggressive style still, with a lot of these engaged like Nautilus and Leonidas up, or if you're going for like the Braum as kind of like these like disengage instead.
Yeah, I mean, I think you could go Braum. You run the risk of maybe having to lane into Karma, but honestly, I don't think that's much of an issue. FGG also does like the Rakan too, which obviously in this sort of setup, I think Resolve, they're lacking a bit of hard engage, and something like the Rakan to get some of these fights started when you've got a lot of this really clean follow-up for me would be a really, really strong tool, especially when you look over at the BTXL side and say, there's nothing to stop the Rakan from realistically going in 9 times out of 10. So I'm looking at those 2 picks in particular for me.
Holding out to see what will be the final pick. A couple, and it is the Rakan being locked in, so having that engage opportunity, and it looks like things are pretty rote. It looks like both teams have actually just drafted in the order that they're going to be playing it.
No one's swapping.
I like that.
Did we get a remake draft? Or? Okay, but joke aside, I think really interesting drafts coming out from both teams. I think BTXL very clearly have a very strong top side, and they've got a bottom side which they can skirmish towards because they've got Volibear, they've got Braum. Cogmore's no slouch either in the early game anymore as well. I think people do tend to forget that. And it's kind of a similar thing for Resolve, except you might want to wait until you get your ultimate. So I think in terms of agency, flat out, you know, BTXL are running the show a bit more in the early game. But once the ultimate starts to come online, that's when I'm expecting to see Resolve try and make some plays in places.
I'm just hoping that we see, especially FGG, start moving up before the rest of them. Basically, I think there's good potential for you to skirmish around the top side of the map without being too punished. As a Tristana that does have the agency and disengage for herself, so I'm hoping to see a lot of movement for FGG, because I think there's a lot of facilitation that can be done at the top side.
And he does that a lot in the UKLC whilst he was on the Academy roster as well. So I'm hoping we get to see a little more freedom come out of FGG, because I feel like so far we've not quite gotten to see that just because of Resolve of, since he's been on the roster, not been having a great time, obviously. So this is the opportunity for me to actually see him get a little more freedom.
He's going to win it. He's going to solo carry Resolve, going to win it all. These 2 analysts don't know anything, but 2 people who might know a little bit more if they're voting in the right direction are Hitpray and Norks. Take it away, lads.
Yeah, I think this is a pretty good draft here from BTXL. If I'm going to be completely honest, they got the Nocturne, who is really strong right now. And you then got things like the hat trick. Did you press that button?
That wasn't me, that was Skullbug.
Okay, cool. Just so you know, there was a bit of an Easter egg in that last game. Orcs pressed his mute button, but he didn't press his mute button. Do you want to show them what button you pressed instead while you've got the stage here?
Sure, which one do you want?
He recorded himself making noises.
I got a new mixer, and I found you can sample, right? And I did these samples earlier, and I've been messing around with them. And then I accidentally pressed one in game when my mic was muted, but apparently the samples weren't muted. So yeah. And then Goldborg just left, and he imitated the noise. Pretty good though. You can do stuff like this. I
genuinely thought you pressed it there.
I'm such a child.
If anyone knows where this came from, it actually came from us talking about those keyboards you used to have in school. You know, the ones where you'd have like Dictionary. Wait, what? That's exactly where it started, mate. I'm trying to save your face here, mate. That's what I'm
Oh,
trying to
the
do.
thing is, now I've used it. Everyone's aware of it. Everyone knows the context. I can just throw it in whenever I want. You know, oh, that was a great. Oh, that was a bad play.
I mean, you can do all your team fight interjections using those buttons.
God, I'm not gonna last long in this broadcast.
There it is. Our producer's just fired him. Formal resignation. Not formal
Well,
resignation.
now I have nothing to lose.
No, Max, what have you done?
Oh,
You've
you
given him
had
too
me.
much power.
Okay. Oh,
League of Legends.
let's calm down. Okay,
LeBlanc.
first thing to know, see a nice little cheeky ward over the wall. But Dan, you can actually dodge this. If you go red, Krog, by that time the ward will die. So that ward I think was a little bit early there. There is sometimes people take like Krogs and they loop round behind that wall where you don't get spotted, but that ward was like a little bit too early. Normally you want a raptor ward about 115, 120, so it's alive when they actually get onto the raptors as their third camp.
Well, not going to be spotted. It did feel a little bit like Camaro was kind of ready for this LeBlanc pick. We have seen a bit of a resurgence in LeBlanc recently in the mid lane, and Patrick's obviously getting a level advantage. He's going to be able to...
interesting because I feel like LeBlanc came in initially as like a good counter to Akali, right? Because that champion's mega broken. But then we had a scenario where LeBlanc's getting picked more and more independently, and that's when like the Sandra's come out as a counter to the LeBlanc. So kind of interesting how this kind of developed. People are like, oh, this champion actually feels good even when they don't have Akali.
Do you not think that Lissandra would be okay into Akali as well? Or am I completely crazy in thinking that?
I feel like it's
Gone the day she used to be picked into things like Akali, especially with the Aftershock, because you just stand in her shroud and W.
I think the problem is like Akali at the moment is like so much base stats, so much health, and you don't have as much early pressure. So like one of the reasons Liz got pushed out the meta is because they nerfed the Q cooldown by quite a lot. So like you can't just like endlessly shove waves into you, dominate mid, and then roam to the side lane. Like you'd even see here, Hatrix has got like a wave stacked up, you know?
Yeah.
All the Sander when she was hard in the meta would just Q, but the cooldown's pretty long till later. The reason she does well until this later is she has that point and click stun, and anytime LeBlanc distortions in, you just W trade back in her face. But I just don't think she has the early pressure to shut down Akali because Akali is so broken. And then like, I swear, it's you'd ult Akali and she still wouldn't die in your ult because she's just an invincible champ.
That was a bit silly. He's actually looking for the knock-up, trying to stack up those concussive blows, but just way too much mobility in his bot side. And we kind of hit on this before, previously. We've seen champions that, like, well, the Kog'Maw as a champion, but actually, you know, we think of him as a scaling champ, but actually, as you do get later into the game, he's... sorry, in the early game, I don't know what the hell I'm saying. I'll start this point again because my brain just farted a little bit there.
Just take a moment.
Reset.
There you go.
So we made this point before where we talked a little bit about how Kog'Maw's actually very good at trading early, as displayed here. Because you think of him typically as a scaler, but actually in lane, at least in the earlier stages of the lane, pretty good. Obviously, compared to this Tristana, once we get a little bit later into the laning phase, quote unquote, Tristana will kind of pull ahead again, and then Kog'Maw will kind of have his resurgence in power as we move a little bit later into the game. Kind of like Caitlyn used to be.
Honestly, I would even say Kog'Maw's like 1-2 item spikes are really good. Like,
yes, true.
He spikes a lot of them. I'd say Kog'Maw's vulnerabilities aren't necessarily like based on timing game. They're kind of based on other factors. Like one of them is the fact that he's not a champion when his W isn't up, right? It's like having an 80 carry, but only part of the time. And so one area that is a bit rough in is on the lane. You know, if you pop your W to trade, the trade's over. Okay, a Chu's going to push the wave in. Deadly can't really do anything about that very much. That's why Lulu Kog'Maw's so good, because Lulu has a lot of lane presence in that sense, and it makes your W trades so much better. And that problem carries on in the later stages. You know, you're in mobile, 80 carry, that's a vulnerability. You're only like really contributing with your W, so they are some of the issues with him. But honestly, I feel like his mid game spike's pretty solid altogether. And as you said, his early game is strong.
FGG. Dan, playing it chill, waiting it out.
Yeah.
If it's a Chu who gets caught, he's going to get flashed onto. They just lock him down, but he's able to jump away to safety. I really feel like Dan could have gone in earlier, but there we are.
Yeah, I think he was kind of, the stun was lining up and he could have flashed over the wall and stunned, but it's very hard to kill a Rakan. I mean, this is why the Rakan's pretty good in this matchup as well. There's not many scenarios where you can stack up a Braum passive on a Rakan. Just because he's so mobile and should be out of there before they connect. But Braum Kog'Maw, a pretty solid lane that you can play together. Braum Thresh also works because you offer that mobility as a safety level. And obviously Braum Lulu is like the traditional one. So a lot of strength in those regards. And I feel like this composition of Resolve, you know, they have a lot of tools to answer the Kog'Maw, but after a certain point, does make it a little bit difficult. If you know, Kog'Maw becomes tankier, because that's the thing we've seen a lot from the Kog'Maws, that they have those bulkier builds where you are a lot more survivable. You know, typically go on the Wit's End, the Randuins as well, and the Shield Bow.
Oh, wow. The trading pattern is disgusting. The Ignite is down. Arome is going to follow him, but the Suplex not going to be enough. Arome secures first blood, but the tower will finish him. And it's a 1-for-1 in the top lane, while Soft will actually take this opportunity to take the Mountain Dragon here.
Yeah, I mean, they have Prior on bot lane that he can play around. That trade still favors Arome, because obviously, actually, the wave's not in a great spot altogether, but he gets the extra gold from the first kill. The wave's in a little bit of a rough spot, so that actually might counteract it. That might actually be a negative trade for Arome. But he's going to TP in and push it in, so it won't be too much of a problem either way. But he'll push this wave in. Caleb was able to walk back as a result, because, you know, with the wave state there, if Arome left it, he could have been frozen on. And that means the Resolve have a play window to work around. They have a TP advantage they can use, and really comes down to where they'll be able to execute on that. The problem is that Arome is really good at shoving waves in. So Caleb might not have a great window to teleport because he's under tower a lot.
Yeah, you've also got the Paranoia as well, which kind of is a semi-global, so you can teleport. But if it's something like the mid lane he's going into, Arome can just walk down and follow. So probably going to expect to see if they act on this teleport advantage into the bot lane. There are not many wards to teleport to though, other than the minions. There's that one pink ward in the bush up there, so not really set up for that play. No dragon or anything, so they may just hold out. I don't think we're going to see any play immediately pulled out here from the side of Resolve. But, you know, the gold lead now slowly building up. 800 up right now for the side of XL, and it's not as fast paced because we spoke to them. We spent quite a few conversations with Hatrix actually at the beginning of the split about, you know, how XL they'd taken some time off and they were trying to experiment with different play styles and being more aggressive early. And we were seeing games that were maybe messy, sloppy from XL. But this is kind of not a massively sloppy, aggressive early game. It's a bit more controlled from XL, and we'll see, you know, what they're looking to do in this game, because for the side of Resolve, they're probably okay not getting constantly jumped on.
Yeah, so they actually plan to go for Herald there, and I think they are looking to commit onto it. Resolve can get contested here.
FGG gets himself the quickness, the knock-up is there. And that is going to be Chimera getting himself the kill. Beautiful Glacial Tomb. Frozen Tomb to secure the kill as he is now getting jumped onto. Hatrix is going to look for the kill onto him. One more auto will seal the deal. The shielding was enough. The Paranoia to follow up as FGG gets himself a kill onto Denik, and Arome is next up to be chased onto. His face is broken, and Kalen will secure the kill. Resolve pulling themselves ahead in this early game versus BTXL.
Yeah, BTXL very disjointed. So the passage of play there was BTXL went in to contest the Herald, but they actually had a numbers disadvantage, and I don't know why I'm talking. We're not done. We're not done.
Is Hatrix done is the question, or is he just looking for a little bit of harassment? Dan's coming in. The teleport is being used. That's that advantage we were talking about as they're bringing everyone in. The Herald's been secured here, and Soft's able to pick it up. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, Deadly maybe getting jumped onto by a Chew. As here he goes, going to get a lot of damage. The Buster Shot will send him packing, and Chew just gets a nice little trade-off onto Deadly, but not really the kill pressure.
I think if he set his W, though, he could jump back in, I think. But, like, yeah, I guess waiting for his E cooldown maybe, but Deadly's just going to back off. Anyway, set up the play. So what we actually saw was BTXL went up towards the top side of the map. And
I don't think we are, mate.
I don't get a chance. Anyway,
he's all right.
BTXL were moving to the top side of the map, but one of the problems was they didn't have prior bot lane. And so despite the fact that they got a quick reset from Denik, Deadly was still catching the wave bot. So Resolve moved their bot lane up towards the Herald, and XL were like, nah, we can't fight this, let's back off. But then Resolve were like, okay, we're in control of Herald, let's sure you can go back and catch that bot wave. And then BTXL were like, okay, they're down in numbers, now we can fight. But they had a really sort of a poor commit to it, and Looks like they're committing a bit more here, but I don't think you're really going to catch on to anything.
So
Khan a little
hard.
bit too mobile.
But actually bringing people in. Chimera's making his way over. Got that frozen tomb available, but not going to throw it down.
And the
It's
thing
so
is, the
hard to catch
Lissandra,
Tristana, right? With a Rakan. You got the battle dance. You got the rocket jump. It's so hard.
and the thing is, Lissandra is so good in these early skirmishes because if you kill a target, you get the frozen thrall, and it just makes the reset so strong. You can chain together kills very effectively, and especially like if Arome and Dan are diving in, if Denek's too close, it does a lot of damage. So
Yeah.
killing that first initial target, getting that combo together is really valuable. And again, the problem was BTXL's approach on that Herald was very staggered. You know, it was Dan and Denek moving in first, getting caught out. Then Arome flew in, and then he died, and Hatrix was like joining late. It wasn't coordinated, and he'd kind of tell that BTXL wouldn't really even share if they wanted to fight the Herald. The conditions weren't set up for it super well, and then they were like, well, we might as well fight its resolve. We can probably take them. And the answer was no, they couldn't take them.
Yeah, I mean, it is the power of all the CC and all the AoE, but it looks like we have to hold this because jumping in onto Kalen is going to be able to put the shield up to be able to survive for now, but Hatrix will be able to shut him down with the Sigil of Malice. It's a nice little kill there in the top side.
Yeah, nice little cleanup, able to capitalize pretty well. And Caleb, once that fear connects, not much you can really do. You can see he was trying to walk back and catch Arome with an ult under the tower, but yeah, just wasn't able to find the window. And Arome able to get some alone time on the top side. He is really far ahead in farm so far in this matchup.
Really far ahead. Dragon up, and Resolve will be looking to try and contest it, but they haven't really got the people in the areas. Kalen's actually teleporting to the top side, so potentially not going to see anything here.
Yeah, and I mean, XL have time. I personally think they could have Arome move down, but it looks like they're not really too bothered about the dragon. They don't have the setup for it.
Oh, a chew, sidestepping and dodging, but still taking so much damage from Deadly. As that is going to be the second dragon secured here for Resolve, and might be in for a day of upsets as Deadly. He's just locked down. He's taken out. A chew able to survive thanks to the shield from the battle dance.
XL just seem a little bit disconnected. They do have two new players, don't get me wrong. They've obviously switched out Marcoon and Advian to the LEC roster, and it seems like maybe there's a little bit of issues with integrating the new players in because they just seem a bit disjointed.
Yeah, and Denek, one of these newer players, pulled in by the Moonfall and taken out soft. Just snaps his fingers.
No. Jake, if Viperoon's right.
You know what? I was actually just thinking that. I realized this horrible
God.
realization, this pit in my stomach as I realized Viperoon might be right.
No. I refuse to accept it. Not yet. Not yet. Can't happen yet. But yeah, we
What
see
happens?
Resolve.
What happens if he gets it right?
We don't talk about that, Jake. We don't talk about that. We focus on the game. We'll
so
deal with the
smug.
consequences after. He will be so smug. We can't have him on the show again because he will be so smug.
You know what?
Um,
I'm used to smugness. We deal with Gulborg every week, so I'm used to it at this point.
True. See how smug he was when he was eating his Kit Kat sideways?
Ah, he knew that he was annoying all of us. Kit Kat.
I would never do that. I would never
like to, 'cause
annoy
you sponsor
everyone
our
and be
show.
smug about it. You know that, Jake. I would never do that.
I might not get the opportunity to speak. As Soft Protobelt flashes to safety, but here comes Chimera. They're looking for the lockdown, looking for the ability to find the kills. The Frozen Tomb connects onto Dan, and they're now locked in place. The paranoia is on, and Hatrix chases forward, finds the kill onto Soft. And NextL are able to find themselves one kill. Very necessary one for themselves as well there.
I like the play coming out from BTXL there. They sacrifice bot lane. If you actually look, no one is in the bot lane catching that wave. That tower's going to die. And BTXL are fine with that because they want to play through the mid and top. So they ended up leaning Arome over there. They find a favorable play. They now have pressure on the map. Yes, they do lose this tower, but it allows them to be more proactive. And remember, they are down in gold. They are down in dragons.
Yeah.
So any sort of proactive plays they can go, even if they lose out the tower on the other side, they're perfectly happy with. So
Yeah.
I like that. I like that they spotted the window to go aggressive and they go for the punish, but Resolve
GG.
seem happy to take the tower.
Dodges away on everything, and I actually want to highlight him
broken.
because he came from the Resolve Academy roster in the UKLC, where honestly he was definitely one of the best supports in the league, and he's having a great game here. He's having a really good game here for Resolve, and since he's joined this roster, sure they lost that first game with him, but he has looked massively like the roster has improved.
Yeah, in fairness, Resolve were losing anyway. So.
Yeah, but like even in that loss, they looked better, right?
Yeah.
doing wonders for the team.
Let's slow down a little bit at this point. There is a pretty long lane here for Resolve, but the problem is Calem's not really in a position where he can do anything with it. You could see a window where he pushes his in, he looks to rotate, but he's so scared of Arome right now with the paranoia. It kind of shuts him down. You can see what Arome does. He's pushed the wave in deep. There's a long time before anyone needs to catch this wave. So he's now moving to the other side of the map, and they want to contest the Herald, but they're a little bit slow on the take, honestly. Resolve already in here, already securing it.
Yeah, I just think that is going to be that. There we go. There's my input on that one. Honestly, I'm a professional, I promise. See whether they decide to use this Rift Herald, though. Obviously, with the bot lane tower down, they may go to use it in one of the side lanes or look to crack open mid lane. Because remember, Hatrix is on the LeBlanc. One of the major weaknesses of LeBlanc is her lack of wave clear. You kind of have to commit your dash to jump in, and you want that as a trading tool. So can make clearing through these waves pretty rough, and sometimes you have to double dash just to clear through the wave quickly. So, you know, cracking the mid lane open means you can catch waves a lot higher up or deeper into the enemy territory, and the LeBlanc will struggle to be able to clear through that. Now, they've obviously switched Deadly off into the mid lane, as now he is kind of being that wave clear tool for the team. But I expect to see probably the Herald go down in the mid lane as Dragon spawning up in 30 seconds time. And that will just give him a massive point of pressure here to work with. Calem's going to go for a reset, so potentially not looking to be on the map in time, as he'd rather finish up his stride breaker.
It's a little bit late. You can see that obviously Hatrix is onto the wave, but that pressure that BTXL had on the top side, they were very easily able to transfer over as Resolve was resetting. So now they have control of the Dragon area. Deadly. Deadly chunked out. And he doesn't have any sustain.
Yeah, he's working purely with his rune sustain as Hatrix looks for the chains onto a Chew, catches him with a sigil, but now Hatrix has to blink back to safety. FGG coming in with the quickness, finds the lockdown, and that's going to be the end of Hatrix. It's a shutdown. Picked up for Soft. And it should just be Dragon number 3, Resolve. Looking absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I love the decisiveness. They pull the trigger, and Hatrix was kind of looking to equalize in that scenario. Oh, my AD carry chunked out, I'll chunk out yours, but this is why the Lissandra is so good into the LeBlanc, and I mean the Rakan there as well. And it's when a team is struggling, I love when they go for these sort of easy to execute, strong engage compositions, because you just pull the trigger. You just see a target, you pull the trigger, you take them down, and that worked really well there. They got that shutdown from LeBlanc, they got that third dragon, and Resolve are in a pretty comfortable spot in this game. And the thing is, you know, I look at BTXL, you know, Cogmore, obviously decent late game, but he doesn't really have like a Lulu setup. I thought that was going to fight.
Paranoia, there is the Gore Drinker, there is the shield, but Arome can just block out on the face breaker, and I think this might be the end of days for Calem as he flashes away. He's got Soft in his background though, seeing if they can find the opportunity to find the kill, but no flash available for Calem as he's going to bolt towards Arome. Arome gets the speed up. If this face breaker connects, he dies. Not going to find it. And that is going to be the end of that as Achu looks for a kill onto Deadly, but then it comes in. Great block up there now. Achu jumpless, and he is down. Deadly finds the kill.
Yeah, a little bit of an ambitious solo play there from Achu. Didn't have any teammates. And like, even if FGG was there, you probably could have gone for that play and then gotten out again. But tries to find the solo kill onto Deadly and is punished. Denik with some nice shadowing. And the gold's even. That's the thing that, you know, the Dragon's been in favor if Resolve is good, but this is still an equal gold game, and a lot of that is from the top lane. There's a pretty big discrepancy in favor of Arome that is causing a bit of issues. And on top of that, you've seen actually a pretty big gap mid as well. It's only really Soft in this jungle matchup who's substantially ahead, but a pretty big farm lead. And kind of expect that down at a pretty fast clearer, but really when it comes down to it, I'm going to be looking at these team fights, and it's going to come down to the sort of execution. And I think for both teams, getting like the initial good start to the fight, getting the engage is going to be really important.
Well, this actually might just be the end of the tower. Those Soft's coming in. They're getting the buster shot. They're looking for the Moonfall. It's only Denik who's been caught, and he uses the stopwatch for now to be able to survive. There's the flash. There's the Moonfall. Deadly is assassinated, and Achu finds the kill while Chimera locks down another one. It's going to be a double for Achu. But the Frozen Thrall's walking around. They can't even chase up for more. XL losing 2 in the mid lane, and this could just be the tower.
That's what Engage want to look for. It just feels like BTXL hovering around, not being respectful, very close to the tower. You even saw Denik uses Unbreakable to block autos, and it's like enemy team has Rakan list. They will engage on you every time here. you can't disrespect them that much. And I feel like that's kind of been the running theme of this game, where BTXL have just disrespected Resolve again and again. And now they've lost their mid-tier 1. It allows Resolve to push up deeper into BTXL's side of the map, get deep vision, and that sets up for TP flanks. And I mean, Lissandra and set TP flanks are pretty destructive. But yeah, you can see Denick uses the Unbreakable just to block autos on Deadly so you can hit the tower. And the engage comes in. Toph obviously able to land a really nice moonfall with assistance from FGG. And then Chimera comes in, locks down the Braum. And it's an easy 2 kills.
It does look like Resolve are in the area to defend this tower, as FGG has to jump away. Wit's End doing a lot of work there for Deadly. He's building towards his Phantom Dancer as the next item.
BTXL grouping up mid. They want to prioritize the next dragon, and they hit early so they can move into the river and establish vision. It's so important that they have good vision control, and they're not going to get flanked. So if we actually move down a bit, I believe there are wards behind BTXL.
And look who's on the base.
So that's a TP from Lissandra. Calum isn't in base for this, but very threatening. And the thing is, without that mid-tier 1, it's so much easier to come from behind. Rome is waiting in the wings, though, so one concern is if Chimera TP's in, they can just pop the darkness, they can just engage on him. Obviously, Lissandra can buy a lot of time, but if the rest of the team can't get there quick enough, could end up going down. But for now, BTXL, you have control of the area, and it's up to Resolve to decide what they're going to do about it.
Yeah, it looks like Chimera decides to call that off. Remember, this dragon spawning up in a minute's time is Soul for the side of Resolve. Ocean Soul's going to make it, you know, even harder to punish Calum, even harder to punish Chimera, who's, like we said, able to buy a lot of time on this Lissandra. You know, while since we've seen it, and it's very effective right now.
BTXL applying some pressure to the bot lane, and you can see on the other side, Chimera's doing the same top. There's still another wave to come before the dragon's up, so this final wave will be the last one contested mid, and then it's looking to move over. So we might see Resolve be a bit more aggressive here and look to really push this one in with the numbers. And now that's when the TP engage comes in.
Coming in, Calum's found himself caught. The chains are going to pop as Chimera takes the path forward, looks for the frozen tomb. Everybody jumps onto Deadly, and Atu finds the kill. They use everything to try and kill Atu, but he busts the shots away. He's taken out. It's the shutdown for Arome as they continue the assault forward. Chimera now has to jump away. 4-man knockup into the moonfall. Over the wall, Hatrix goes as he's just about able to survive, but no, he is taken out by Calum. The minions finish it up as FGG goes golden, and Arome being chased down. So much damage coming out from him, but it's not enough. A shutdown picked up for Calum, and Resolve take the win.
Super close fight, honestly, but taking out Deadly at the start, a massive factor in Resolve's success. And again, those frozen Thors getting so much value in that situation, and they managed to come out victors and secure that Ocean Soul, which is massive in establishing an advantage in these further fights.
Absolutely brilliant stuff there. And there's that flank. That's what we were talking about. I'll have a look at the fight again because just a brilliant flank.
Yeah, strong engage comes in, and Atu commits pretty heavily in this situation, getting the reset and the jump and going so close to get that kill. It does cost him the life as the enemy team engage on him, but Resolve are very much sticking as a group, moving forward steadily, and Arome is really the big driving force in the sustained damage here. Hatrix actually dies to the Krugs, by the way, aggroes them with a W. But as that happens, this tight-knit unit of Resolve is getting so much value, and Arome is the only sustained damage. Having a LeBlanc on your team obviously means, as the fight goes on, you offer less and less value, and Soft hyper-fed on this Diana. Chimera getting repeated value from the Thralls. The longer fight ended up favoring Resolve simply because Deadly died at the start.
Yeah, it was good focus. Deadly probably got 0 damage off in that fight. He was instantly CC'd.
That's wrong. His passive.
Ah, you're right. Paranoia getting thrown down, though. Looking for a kill on Calum. He's feared, he's fleeing, and Dan's coming in. They get him knocked up with a Glacial Fissure. Calum puts a big shield up. He's buying a lot of time for the team, but he will be shut down by Deadly. Big cash injection into your Cogmore. Definitely something XL need. And now they have the inside track on mid lane with a wave, so this tower will crumble. And XL finally, 25 minutes into the game, will crack open this tower.
And you can see the difference when Deadly isn't threatened. Gets so much damage off. And right now, the front to backs really feel good for BTXL. Braum has a ton of value here. Nocturne as well obviously creates a ton of disruption. And you're able to just shred through whoever comes close to you. Whereas Atu is doing a decent amount of base damage to squishies, but he's not really cutting through tanks as quickly as Cogmore does. So If BTXL can find those setups again, the backline's protected, they just deal with what's in front of them, they're in a really good spot. Resolve need those flanks.
They've got the teleports available for Kalim. Chimera still does not have his teleport quite yet. So like you said, might have to wait on those before they can find the flanks that they need necessary. But I actually want to take stock of the items because we haven't really talked too much about those. You got 2 items on to pretty much all of the major carries, double stopwatches, well, Zonya's hourglasses at least, onto the side of Resolve, and a stopwatch on the Cheer along with his Phantom Dancer and Kraken Slayer. It's actually very hard to find a punish onto the squishier members of Resolve. Obviously, FGG is technically squishy, but he's just so slippery.
Yeah, I mean, it does make it difficult, and there's no point-and-click lockdown really from BTXL. The only thing is down stun, but it's melee range, whereas there's a lot more CC flying out from Resolve, which is why they're doing so well in these fights. Now,
oh, hello.
BTXL had a window with that wave pushed in bot. That window is now closed, so they're wanting to start the Baron and get Resolve to commit, but Resolve seem blissfully unaware of this one. Soft needs to get in quick.
Chimera's going to place a ward over the wall. He's going to take himself the path. He has the ulti to buy time. Uses it on himself as Dan secures the Baron, and the fight is on already. FGG's taken out, but they have got to chew. Free firing away. Denick could get cooked here as Chimera takes a kill out onto Dan. Kalim's been stunned up, and that is Baron onto BTXL. And they are looking for a little bit more here, though. As a Chew may look to jump over the wall. Chimera, no ultimate available as Kalim's going to get jumped onto. Double chain in, puts up the shield, but he's taken out as Chimera looking for the assassination onto a Arome. Now Deadly could be next up. Achu dodging and diving away from all of this major damage to Soft, and Hatrix going for the 1v1. Hatrix misses out on the chains, and Soft chases for more. Here comes the path from Chimera. He follows it, but he can't get in range to find the Ring of Frost. And Baron and the reset will come through. They only trade out Dan, BTXL, able to scramble away to safety from Resolve.
Yeah, I mean, BTXL take a coin flip in that situation, and it comes up heads right there. Not exactly clean, not what we sort of expect from the E-Masters finalists, but they do manage to win out in the exchange and get away with their lives. But you can see how delicate things were at first. But again, Deadly untouched means BTXL in a comfortable position, and we get that replay. I mean, this is just a 50-50, especially with the smite changes. It's 900 damage each. It's just a 50-50. Dan does manage to deliver, and then this great ultimate stops FGG in the way coming out from the Braum. We see Soft unable to get in the Cogmore, and Deadly's just doing so much damage, and Resolve are really limited in ways they can just go through the front line of BTXL. Arome tries to zone them away so they can move out, but things end up getting a little bit more scrappy here. I think BTXL really just want to kind of disengage in this situation, but obviously Resolve trying to stop them from letting that happen.
Kalim, oh my lord, Hatrix, death cap in hand. Just half health, Kalim.
He does damage.
There it is. Elder spawning up in 1 minute's time. Baron NLXL's side. They've got a pretty large wave to work with here on the bot side, but they are looking just to reset with the Baron buffs. Try and spend some of that gold and finish these items up because they're going to need as much power as possible for this Elder. Gale Force has now been finished up for Deadly, so he's finished up his Mythic, meaning, you know, he gets all that bonus extra movement speed, plus the additional dash. Void Staff now finished up with the Hatrix as well. We saw how much damage he did just to Kalim. Kalim doesn't have any magic resist. He's got armor, but no magic resist, so he is squishy to Hatrix.
Yeah, and no Infinity Edge on a Chew yet. Went for the Lord Dominic's for the penetration, but at this point, you know, you don't really hit your late game spike here. He's looking for a Arome though, but isn't going to be able to find it. Very hard for Resolve to contest mid priority here because of the Baron, and they're looking to go in.
He doesn't have the jump. Can he find the Buster Shot in time? No, he can't. Achu is down as Chimera trying to kite onto the side, but Kalim will lose his life as well as it's a double kill for Arome. Achu just got too greedy with that rocket jump, and it cost him heavily.
Yeah, and, you know, you have people on your team who are good at flanking, you know. You are not one of them. Achu just diving in, trying to get some big play there. It needs to be Chimera and Kalim looking for those. You get punished,
FGG.
And now you're going to lose your mid lane inhibitor tower. And I believe BTXL will just back off after this and take the Elder. Achu's not going to be up for long enough, so this is just essentially a free take. And BTXL getting the gold from those towers as well puts them in a pretty comfortable spot. Just a massive mistake from Achu.
It's been a nice recovery from BTXL. It was a questionable start, but a very nice recovery. Now, Chew spawned up, way too late to contest it, so I think for the side of Resolve, they're just going to have to wait out this Elders. You can see how much gold they're trying to inject into Deadly, making sure he gets every little bit of gold possible now. is very much the carry for this team, although Hatrix also doing a monstrous amount of work for the team, along with Arome.
Yeah, we'll get the replay here, and we can see, I mean, just using the jump here aggressively, very hard to really pin down Arome without assistance, and you can feel like the rest of the team aren't even clued up. If you're going for a play like that, FGG should be there to follow up on the engage, but
Okay,
it was just a little bit messy.
he's seen. All it's going to take is double sigil. There's the Elder, instantly popping him.
What a champ, by the way.
LeBlanc's late game, by the way.
What a champion.
I won't hear
Outplayed, Caleb. I mean, in
I
fairness,
won't
there's no
hear
magic
that.
resist, but he had a Sterix, by the way, died through that, so... Yeah, just LeBlanc things. And now, BTXL in a pretty rough position. Thing is, by taking down that inhibitor tower, they don't really need Baron or anything like Baron minions to be able to take this inhib. They can just push up mid comfortably, and Resolve really cannot fight in this position.
There's a minute left as well. They just can't do anything. They just have to watch and concede those towers and potentially more as Soft gets pretty heavily chunked out. Hatrix didn't land the chains though, so could have been worse.
And it's really hard because they don't want to fight here because the Elder will time out. Baron will be the fight that they want to take to contest them. And BTXL know that, so they'll just force as much as they can. Resolve just won't walk up, and now mid inhibitor down, bot inhibitor down, puts a huge pressure point for this Baron.
Oh, FGG, he's dead.
Upgrade. And BTXL look to continue the pressure. They still have the Elder, so they're trying to keep this going. They don't really want to have to back off and go for the Baron. They have a TP as well if they want to use that to tank the tower. They want to try and take them here.
17 seconds, the flash comes in. There's the slam, but Elder's still on these members. Can they survive long enough? Here's the moonfall onto everybody. And Dan's going very, very low. Soft goes golden in the middle of everyone, and Caleb's doing a lot of work to try and save the day here as Chimera looks for the ignite, looks for the turnaround. Can't quite get it, but the frozen thrall will not finish the day up here. Hatrix is still so alive and got all the health to work with. He is going to chase out these members and look to try and find a quick kill as he distorts forward.
All right.
And Soft.
Hear me out,
Elder's
Jake.
gone.
If he waits long enough to get his ult back, then he might kill Hatrix.
How long has he got?
A while.
Not long. It's too long. It's way too long.
40 seconds. Just keep running.
Oh, dodges the chains.
Actually,
Teleport's coming in. Teleport's coming in. We're in for some action here. FGG's on the flank as well. So they're looking for a Rome. They're going to lock him out with the charm. The glacial path comes through. Chimera. Will they be able to kill the kill? No. Hatrix is feared. He's going to be able to find the kill, however, though, as a Rome gets himself a rampage kill on Chimera. Not going to feel that. Not going to take it. Decides to walk away.
Yeah, so normally teams don't just brute force through Nexus Towers because it's difficult. I think as you saw there, very hard to get in the back line as you'll be diving too deep. And although it was close because of the Elder Dragon, Soft got a massive ultimate off. I'm not sure if we'll get a replay because I think action's still kicking off. But yeah, massive ultimate, did a ton of AoE damage and allowed the team to drive forwards. But now, BTXL's on a set up on this Baron. They know they have the super minions as a pressure point. Kalem has TP, so they likely want to bait that. But remember, Soft is still down. They don't have a smite, but that might not really matter if it just comes down to the team fight itself.
Ooh, FGG playing with fire here. But Baron spawning up. And Deadly now got that Warmogs. Well, not the Warmogs, sorry. Got the Warden's Mail. So it's a little bit tankier, maybe a little bit harder. But this Baron is pretty much donezo. Chimera needs to get inside the pit. They place the pink. They see it's there. Can he take the Glacial Fissure in time to save the day? It looks like the Baron's going to continue to be aggroed. They know it's going on. The paranoia is there, and that is the slight loss. That is now the opportunity for them to seal the deal. As Kalen able to pull through. Deadly's going very, very low. FGG finds himself the assassination offers. Achu's looking for Hatrix, but maybe Hatrix will take out Achu. He finds the right one, secures the kill, and Resolve have just stripped Baron off the members of 3 of XL. Dan now pops the blast cone to get over the wall. There's a big wave inside the base, and Dan trying to find an escape, trying to find his opportunity to get away. Can he do so? Denick, the only one who's got out safely for now, as Dan will be hunted through the jungle. And I don't think you're going to get that Baron recall off in time. Oh, you are. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, they decided not to keep chasing. Didn't figure they were going to get him, and he gets out, but still a massive teamfight win for Resolve. And I think you see one of the problems with the Kog'Maw on the later stages is he just becomes a liability when he comes to the lack of mobility. Watch this damage, by the way, from Kalem. Over 1,000 true damage. Where's the counterplay? That armor, that magic resist not helping. And then we see Hatrix tries to jump on a Chew, but a Chew's really strong now on this Tristana, and you just take him on. Has the crit damage, able to deal with him, and BTXL kind of fall apart. You know, your mid laner wasn't able to assassinate their AD carry. Kalem's able to just absolutely destroy Deadly. And without that sustained damage coming out from BTXL, they're kind of struggling, especially against Ocean Soul. So still a couple of Baron buffs, still got those inhibitors down, still going to have the priority, but Resolve, Elder Dragon in 40 seconds, they can win fights, and we've seen that.
These inhibitors should be coming up fairly soon.
I think this is a point where when a Chew has Infinity Edge, that kind of like Kog'Maw starts to feel a bit worse.
Oh, but look at the Kalem though, actually. Arome, Paranoia's in, seeing if they can find the backup. He has that shield to work with, and that will keep Kalem alive for now. But he has to go back, he has to go reset. Elder's up. Kalem, no teleport available, so he's basically forced out now. At least the Paranoia is down. Although it's on a pretty short cooldown, so it should be coming up fairly soon. And that's going to be the Glacial Path. Hatrix actually getting caught down. He's going to the Glacial Tomb. Able to survive for now, though, as they are looking for Soft. Soft, Proto Belt's over. Can he get the stopwatch off in time as Chimera now being chased up? FTG pops the quickness, looking for the CC, able to lock them down. Dan loses a lot of health, and then it comes in. Kalem has rejoined into the fight. The teleport's coming in as they're looking to try and find that big turnaround. A Glacial Fissure to buy time. Here they go. Resolve coming in. The Moonfall's huge from Soft, and a Chew firing away onto Arome. Dan getting jumped onto a Chew's funny assassinations, finding the reset of Resolve. Are taking everything. It's a double kill for a Chew.
They managed to take it out. Some really nice re-engage there, and it felt like both teams toying with it, being a lot of ults. Hatrix looking for the window.
Can he do it? I don't think he can. There is no jungler, but that is it. Elder secured. And the reset's coming in. This game is going back and forth. Golden lead irrelevant.
And I really want Resolve to win, but I don't want Viperune to be right. We see a lot of bid in this situation. But then it comes to this scenario where Danik plays very aggressive on the Braum here, trying to block the engage. The thing is, you now no longer have a lot of those tools available. Soft dies in, gets the big moonfall. It doesn't proc afterwards, but then the dunk follows. And these engage tools from Resolve are just better than what BTXL has. They have this hard point and click CC. They're able to just dive in, target someone, take them down. And the thing is, there's no QSS on Deadly. And even though he has a lot of resistances, Kalem does like 1,000 true damage with his W. It's ridiculous. So BTXL are kind of running out of options here. They aren't winning the 5v5s. It's not happening. I know that one was close, but I feel like as the game goes on, it's just going to get worse. They have split map pressure, but Resolve are grouping together, so they're limited in finding these picks, finding these advantages. Really, Hatrix needs to 100-0 Chew. That's the window I'm seeing, and he is looking for it. But remember, if Chimera's there, you want ult away from death.
And I think Chew's final item will either be a Bloodthirster or a GA. I really would like the GA, actually, when you're dealing with Hatrix. And it's so scary because they've got Elder. We saw what XL did with Elder earlier. They're just able to brute force their way through. Now Hatrix
that's the window.
Come over the wall. Look for the assassination. And Chew is shut down. The carry is already dead, but they're looking to try and find a quick turnaround as that is Dan getting jumped onto. The Paranoia is on, and Hatrix is looking to join into the fight. The tower will fall, and now it is all BTXL. Can they find that turnaround? Arome goes golden, and the gift of the Elder doing way too much work. Resolve find themselves the team fight victory, and they're able to crack open the base. They may be looking to close this game out. Hatrix is going to have to make a miracle happen to try and save this. His FPG is just buying time for his team. The Nexus will be under fire here, and this could just be very well the game. Week 6 is the day and the week of upsets.
And it's a massive upset for Resolve. And I'm super happy for them, but Viperune was right, and I can't handle that, Jake. I can't handle it. It hurts me, but you know, I can talk about that, you know, to you later, and we can sort of deal with that in our own way. But ultimately, Resolve came in with a composition that, you know, as Goldberg was saying, more traditional of what we see in the LPL. Very team fight focused, very strong engaged tools, and they found those windows. And honestly, we saw a bit of disrespect coming out from BTXL. Bit disjointed, opting into fights that you wouldn't really take. And I know they've had 2 new members introduced, so it does raise some question marks about how well they're sinking in. Yeah. But either way, disrespecting them and some really good punish from Resolve. It was very clear they knew exactly what they needed to do in the team fights, and they started finding those windows again and again and again. And even at the end, they lost a tube, but the Elder was enough to win them the fight.
Honestly, looks like FGG was a brilliant addition to the Resolve lineup. Anyway, it's time for us to throw to a break, and we'll pass it over after that to the King of Smugness to talk a little bit more about that game. We'll see you later.